We'll put you another perspective, Professor, and it's this. We have international law, right? We have the principle of the sovereignty of nations. We have the United Nations Charter. Russia has clearly violated all this. It has invaded in Crimea in 2014. It has invaded in 2022. So if we accept what you are saying, or not you, what President Trump is saying about Crimea, forget Crimea, it's a Biden's, it's an Obama thing. Where does international law stand?
If you want to know which country violates international law most consistently in the world, by far an order of magnitude above the rest, it's the United States of America. Almost everything the United States does in foreign policy these days is illegal. The tariffs are illegal because we have a World Trade Organization system. The United States just walked out of the Paris Climate Agreement, telling the rest of the world to go to hell on this. The United States walked out of the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty in 2002. The United States never signed even, and much less ratified, most UN major treaties of the last 30 years. The United States,
an invasion, though. It's not like...
And the United States invaded far more countries than Russia ever has or ever will. The Iraq War, where is that? Was that international law?
With you, but
well, wait a minute. It's not just Iraq. It's Iraq, it's Syria, it's Libya, it's Serbia, it's Afghanistan.
Yes.
Tell me about international law. Tell me.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you that Russia looks at this and sees a complete imperial behavior by the United States pushing a 900,000-man Ukrainian army on its border and putting missile systems in Eastern Europe. And then you quote international law to me after the United States has invaded and overthrown dozens of governments. Was the coup in Maidan international law? No. That was an absolute threat to Russian security in violation of international law. So my point is the following. Both countries violate international law, but if you want to know who provoked this war, that's the United States. And why do I say that? Because the U.S. has been the powerful country for 30 years, and it has used its power aggressively and illegally. By the way, the U.S. sanctions about half the countries in the world. Those sanctions are illegal. They're against international law. Every year, the UN General Assembly votes that these are illegal. So, yes, if we want to talk about international law, I'm all for it. I love the UN. The United States is the biggest violator of international law, and that is the first point. This was provoked by the world's most powerful country. Now, let's get to peace.
But does it justify the invasion, though, Professor?
It explains it completely.
It explains. I agree with you.
Well,
totally.
justify is not even relevant here. Russia's national security was threatened by the United States deliberately. How's Russia going to act as a great power? It's going to respond. So the United States has to stop provoking wars. It has to stop overthrowing governments. It has to stop covert regime change operations. It has to stop wars of choice.
I agree totally with what you say, and from your perspective as regards realpolitik, but from our perspective as a small country, I'm talking about Cyprus, and as a country that is victim of invasion in 1974, half of the island is taken by Turkey by force. 200,000 people were thrown out of their houses, and we have refugees and everything. Our first line of defense is international law.
I'm explaining to you, there is no international law that's being enforced right now because the U.S. is the biggest violator. Let me give you another example. What's going on in your neighborhood? In Gaza?
Yes.
A genocide.
It's another.
Okay. A genocide. Who funds, arms, and provides the wherewithal for the genocide?
The U.S.
The United States. Okay. So Russia's not committing a genocide. The United States and Israel are committing a genocide. Where is the international law? I'm fine about international law, by the way. I spend my life at the UN. I believe it, but I know how things are working right now. The United States acts with impunity, and then to point to Russia as the violator makes no sense. If you point to the United States as the main violator and, oh, by the way, Russia does the same in response, I'm with you.
Yes.
That's the point. But, you know, here in Europe, people don't attack the United States. They think, oh, I can't do that. It's dangerous, it's wrong, it's so forth. Oh, they leave it to me, which is not pleasant, by the way. Yes. It's not my favorite activity. But the truth is, we cannot have international law where we point to Russia as the great violator and somehow leave the United States out of the story, which provoked everything. So I often say that I'm in favor of Jesus Christ's foreign policy. Jesus Christ's foreign policy is when he says, why do you point to the mote in the other person's eye when you have a plank in your own eye? And what he's saying in the Gospels is, don't be a hypocrite. And that's what I say to the United States and to Europe. Don't be a hypocrite. You want international law? I'm all with you. Completely. Yes. I'm living my life for it. But if you want that, then you have to point to the perpetrator that does it the most. And then you can fairly say, everyone else, this is bad news. But we need the major power to stop this bad behavior. Then we can go on and get everyone else to stop it. But you cannot have the United States acting with impunity and then holding Russia to a standard that puts itself at fundamental national security risk. That's the truth.